Tonight, CBS 4 News brings you live team coverage of these street demonstrations. We begin with CBS 4's Brian Andrews. Brian.
Well, Erica and Rick, here we are looking at all the art, and with the world looking at the art, the protesters knew that they would be able to get some attention, so they got on social media using hashtags like Ferguson to Miami and Rifa Lives and took their protest not only into the street, but up onto the expressway over there. We begin in the sky with the view from above of a night of protests, a vigil becoming a march on an expressway, I-195, heading over toward Miami Beach. The protesters going westbound in the eastbound lanes, crossing traffic, stopping vehicles. Lots of people, lots of cars, lots of uncertainty. And then the protesters made their way into the Midtown Miami area, home of the Art Miami Festival, where thousands are enjoying artwork from all over the world. The perfect stage, perhaps, for their message to be heard on. As the marchers pass through, holding their hands in the air, raising their voices, carrying signs, and marching for what they say is a system that is broken. The march continued through Midtown down into Wynwood, where the protesters mingled with Friday night club goers, restaurant patrons, and art gallery visitors, as the beat of the streets this night was protest in Miami. It was a massive display of civil disobedience, stopping traffic in Wynwood, where they laid in the street for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, a tribute to lives lost.
Who's thinking about Rifa? We are! Who's thinking about Mike Brown? We are! Who's thinking about Eric Gardner? We are! Who's thinking about our families? We are!
And along the protest route, we met these educators.
The greatest lessons we can teach our students, which is activism.
Absolutely. Me personally, so therefore it's not just them, it could be me as well. So therefore I'm protesting for my livelihood as well as my students' livelihood.
No justice, no peace.
Organizers of the protest tonight told me that they think they had about 600 people in total participating, and they are going back on social media calling for another get-together on Tuesday at a site still to be determined. We talked to the Miami Police Department tonight. No arrests, no injuries connected to these nonviolent, peaceful protests. Live near Midtown, Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News Tonight.
CBS 4's Brian Andrews reports how new technology is being used to make gem-quality diamonds, ones the Federal Trade Commission classifies as the real thing.
This is a mine diamond, approximately $7,000. This is a laboratory-grown diamond for $3,500. This one has actually more sparkle.
Bob Moorman with the handlebar mustache is co-owner of Carroll's Jewelers on Los Olas and knows his stuff.
You get more bang for your buck. What would you rather have? End of conversation.
Robert says lab-grown diamonds are about a third less in price than those that come from mines, and you can't tell the difference.
Whenever a woman gets a diamond on her finger and her girlfriends say that's beautiful, that's the rate of return. She likes to make her girlfriends jealous. Lisa
Bizzle is the CEO of Pure Grown Diamonds, the company behind the new technology that grows them in a Singapore laboratory from the same material as natural ones.
A small piece of carbon that's placed in a low-pressure microwave chamber. Hydrogen and methane gases are added to the chamber, and then the miracle begins.
And it takes a couple months, and under great pressure and temperature, the same thing that nature did, you make a diamond.
They have all the optical, chemical, and physical properties of mine diamonds, and they're 100% carbon because they're genuine diamonds.
Genuine, that costs about 30% less.
When you can buy a diamond with 1/3 reduced, it makes a big difference.
Especially to the guy who's buying the diamond.
That's exactly it.
Gemologist John King says it's true. Lab-grown diamonds are essentially the same thing as the natural ones.
I believe there's a place in the market for all of these different items, and it's really through an awareness that people can choose best.
Because they take the time and cut the diamond better, there's more scintillation to this diamond.
We asked Diana Jackson if she could tell the difference between a lab diamond and a mine diamond.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I would say...
She couldn't.
If your husband brought you home a diamond and you later found out it came from a mine, or it came from a lab, would you be disappointed or would you just be happy with the stuff?
Oh, I would just be happy because nobody knows the difference.
No.
And I'm not telling.
In Fort Lauderdale, Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News.
CBS 4's Brian Andrews with the story.
Oh, Erica, don't put the kids to bed. They want to see it too. Adriana Lima, who will be wearing one of those $2 million bras tonight. She got her body in tip-top shape with regular training at the world-famous 5th Street Gym on Miami Beach. It's fashion meets fantasy at the Victoria's Secret's fashion show in London.
Some of the most talented musicians will be performing on that stage.
Taylor Swift is among the performers as the ladies walk the runway on CBS tonight with wings.
The most special runway in the world, and it has no equivalent. You need to understand how rare you are. And tonight you are the strongest team that has ever been on a runway, and I thank you for that.
Supermodel Adriana Lima staying in shape for the big event with boxing at the world-famous 5th Street Gym on South Beach.
Adriana is intense, a hard worker. She has a 10 o'clock workout. She comes at 9:15.
Her South Florida trainer, Dino Spencer, made sure she was in picture-perfect shape for the body-bearing event.
A lot of hard work, a little bit of food, as much sleep as possible, and many rounds of boxing, hitting the pads, hitting the mitts, hitting people sometimes, jump rope for rounds and rounds, sometimes weights, sometimes calisthenics, jumping, you name it, anything we can think of.
Adriana Lima, along with supermodel Alessandra Ambrosio, will wear one of the $2 million Dream Fantasy bras in tonight's special. And you thought the lingerie you bought your special lady was expensive.
She's the #1 model in the world, and she works hard to stay there. It's as intense as a professional athlete is. I mean, their bodies are where they make their money, and their money is serious money. So in turn, they have serious workouts.
And gentlemen, tonight's runway will be a serious workout on your eyes. A spectacle of beauty seen around the world. Dino, the trainer, says Adriana is a fierce contender in the gym. She's very focused, even giving dirty looks occasionally. But outside, she is a sweetheart and at times a goofball. The fashion show begins at 10 tonight here on CBS 4. And remember, $2 million bras, but guys, it's okay if you have the $25 skivvies underneath your pants. Wife doesn't care. I'm Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News.
CBS 4's Brian Andrews looks at how beagles are being used for biomedical testing.
75 beagles call these kennels in Colorado home. They're part of an ongoing experiment at preclinical research services.
All drugs that are being developed for use both in animals and in humans have to undergo pharmacokinetics testing. That's required by Food and Drug Administration.
These beagles are being injected with painkillers, antibiotics, or hormones for use in humans someday.
We're doing some analgesic testing of a drug that's injected into the knee joint.
The use of dogs for pharmaceutical testing doesn't sit well with many dog lovers.
This is Bagley. Hi. His first 2.5 years of life, he spent in a crate. He did not see sunlight, the grass. He was not a dog. He was a laboratory subject.
The doctor admitted to us the dogs never go outside, but they insist they are well cared for. But those in the business of dog testing say adopting out all the dogs isn't realistic, since many have to be put down.
Many of these dogs need to be euthanized. That's sometimes part of the research.
There is movement in the scientific community to try to do some medical testing without using animals when possible.
You recall that 2 physicians or healthcare workers that came back from Africa with Ebola, they were treated with an antibody that was produced in tobacco plants.
Although animal testing is a volatile debate, animal JX01 still has his lab number tattooed on his ear. Oh. But he's one of the lucky ones. He's now been adopted and has a new home. Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News.